All right, you've got a business meeting in 15 minutes. 15. That's less time than it takes your boss to figure out how to share their screen on Zoom. Less time than it takes the finance department to say, well, it depends on the budget. But here's the kicker. Those 15 minutes can decide whether you're the invisible face quietly sipping coffee, or the person who walks out with respect, authority, and maybe even that promotion people thought you weren't ready for. Most people waste those 15 minutes doom scrolling, panicking, or practicing that fake nod you do when you have no clue what's going on. Not you, not after today, because I'm about to give you 10 power moves that'll transform your last 15 minutes before a meeting into your secret confidence machine. These aren't theory. These are the same tricks executives, investors, and CEOs use every day to own the room. So buckle up, because by the end of this, you won't just survive your next meeting, you'll run it like Wall Street on a Monday morning. 1. The silent prep. Here's the truth. Confidence doesn't start with what you say. It starts with what you don't. 3 minutes of silence before the meeting can change the entire vibe. Shut down email. Put your phone face down. No last-minute urgent Slack messages, just silence. Why? Because walking into a meeting with your brain buzzing on 12 different channels is like trying to trade stocks with 6 screens open and no coffee. You'll miss signals, you'll panic, and you'll react instead of lead. I once had a colleague, let's call him Dave, who ran into a boardroom late, juggling 3 phone calls, 1 Starbucks, and 0 preparation. He sat down, sweaty, frazzled, and the first thing he said was, wait, what are we meeting about again? Boom, confidence gone. Credibility, dead on arrival. Silent prep is like compounding interest for your brain. Small investment, huge payoff. Calm equals control. Control equals confidence. And once your brain isn't running on chaos, that's when you feed it direction. Welcome to step 2. 2. Bulletproof your agenda. Write down 3, only 3 outcomes you want from this meeting, not 20 bullet points, not a dissertation, just 3. Why 3? Because 3 is sticky. Investors remember 3 key metrics. Executives remember 3 takeaways. Even kids' stories run on the rule of 3. Setup, conflict, resolution. Let me give you a finance-flavored fail. I once watched a junior analyst present to a hedge fund manager with a 19-point agenda. 19. The poor guy lost the room at slide 2. By the end, no one could remember a single thing except how badly they wanted lunch. Compare that to a senior partner who walked in and said, here are the 3 things we need clarity on today. Timeline, budget, execution. That meeting ended 20 minutes early, and guess what? Everyone thought he was a genius. Confidence comes from clarity, and clarity comes from focus. But knowing what you want is useless if you walk in looking like you just lost a fight with the printer. Which brings us to number 3. 3. Power posture, power voice. Body language speaks louder than your actual words. You could have the best financial model in the room, but if you hunch over like a guilty teenager, no one's buying it. Stand tall, shoulders back, feet grounded. Take a deep breath before walking in. You're not just entering a meeting, you're entering your stage. Here's the finance analogy. Posture is like your credit score. People judge it instantly, even if they don't consciously realize it. You can say all the right things, but if your credit posture sucks, no one's lending you credibility. And your voice, slow it down by 10%. That small pause signals confidence. Remember, Warren Buffett doesn't speed talk his way through shareholder meetings, he speaks with weight. Because when you sound like you believe in yourself, everyone else does too. Now posture sets the stage, but words carry the show. And that's where step 4 becomes your secret weapon. 4. The confidence phrase, bank. Ever freeze up in a meeting? Brain blank, words gone. Suddenly, you're nodding like a bobblehead, hoping no one calls on you. That's why you need a phrase bank. Preloaded one-liners that make you sound sharp even under pressure. Here's what's important, cuts through noise. Let's align on the next step. You just became the adult in the room. That's a great point. Here's how we can build on it. Confidence without arrogance. It's like having a diversified portfolio of language. You don't put all your credibility in one risky phrase. You spread it out with safe, reliable returns. I once used the line, "Let's align on the next step." In a room where everyone was arguing over marketing spend. Boom, the chaos stopped. Suddenly we weren't fighting, we were moving forward. That's not just speaking, that's leading. But confidence isn't only about what you say, it's also about how your brain rehearses the win before it even happens. 5. Visualization hack. Take 60 seconds before the meeting. Close your eyes. Picture yourself delivering one sharp comment that makes everyone nod in agreement. Imagine the CEO saying, "That's a great idea." Sounds corny, right? But science backs it. Athletes do it before championships. Navy SEALs do it before missions. Your brain rehearses the win so that when you step in, it feels familiar. A CFO I worked with swore by this. He'd literally sit in his office, eyes closed, imagining himself walking into the boardroom and shutting down tough questions with calm authority. And guess what? He did exactly that. Visualization isn't wishful thinking. It's mental rehearsal. Confidence is just muscle memory for your brain. Mindset locked? Great. Now let's handle the wild card in every meeting, the other people. 6. The dialogue switch. Here's a secret. Confident leaders don't hog airtime, they create space. Instead of rambling, try. I'd love to hear your perspective on this. Simple, but powerful. Suddenly, the quietest person in the room speaks up, and you look like the leader who values input. Think about it in finance terms. This is portfolio diversification. You're not betting all your credibility on your own voice. You're spreading the investment by including others. The return? Buy-in, respect, and collaboration. I once watched a junior manager use this trick during a heated meeting. Everyone was clashing. She calmly said, "Let's hear from the team who hasn't spoken yet." Boom. The entire tone shifted. She didn't just look confident, she looked like the smartest person in the room. But once you open the floor, chaos can creep in. That's when you need step 7. 7. The reset button. Meetings derail faster than meme stocks on Reddit. One minute you're talking revenue projections, the next someone's debating the font size on the PowerPoint. This is where you step in with, "Let's make sure we're aligned on the goal." That one line is like hitting reset on a frozen laptop. Everyone snaps back to focus. I'll never forget a $50 million budget meeting I sat in. Halfway through, marketing was arguing with finance about who owned customer retention. It was going nowhere. A director cut in, "Let's get aligned on the actual goal here. Keeping churn under 5%. Silence. Heads nodded. The fight ended. Meeting back on track. Resetting the room is confidence in action. You're not just present, you're piloting. And once the room's aligned, you need to drive it forward. Which brings us to step 8. 8. Shift to solutions. Meetings love problem mode. People vent, complain, analyze why things suck. It's like watching financial news channels predict the end of the world every 5 minutes. You want to stand out? Say, "What's the next best step?" That line shifts the energy from problems to progress. Case in point, I was in a meeting where everyone was blaming delays on suppliers. It was basically a corporate pity party. Someone finally said, "Okay, but what can we do this week to keep the project alive?" The mood changed instantly. Solutions started flying. That person became the unofficial leader. Confidence isn't about pointing out what's wrong. Anyone can do that. Real confidence is guiding people to what's next. And if you want to seal that impression, step 9 is your golden ticket. 9. Be the recap hero. 5 minutes left. Everyone's confused. Decisions are fuzzy. Deadlines non-existent. This is where you swoop in. Say, let's recap. Here's what we agreed. Here's who's doing what. And here's the timeline. You just transformed chaos into clarity. Congratulations. You're now the human version of a financial statement. Clear, concise, and respected. I saw a junior associate do this in a merger discussion once. The room was chaos. She calmly summarized the key points and action items. Suddenly, the executives looked at her like she was the only adult in the room. Guess who got promoted 6 months later? Confidence is remembering that people forget. Be the one who makes things unforgettable. And now, the final play. The closer that makes you not just confident, but unforgettable. 10. Close with future fuel. Don't just let the meeting end with awkward silence and shuffling papers. End with, how can we make this even better next time? That question shows you're not just focused on today's win. You're building tomorrow's success. It's the difference between someone managing cash flow and someone planning long-term investment strategy. A CEO I know ends every meeting with this line. At first, people thought it was cheesy. Then they realized it created a culture of constant improvement. Now, it's part of the company DNA, and that's leadership at its core. Confidence isn't just what you bring to the table, it's what you leave behind. So there you go. 10 power moves in 15 minutes that turn you from meeting filler into meeting leader. Do these consistently, and you stop being the person who just attends meetings. You become the person who shapes them. The one people look to when decisions matter. If this helped, smash that like button, subscribe for more no-fluff business and finance strategies, and share this with your coworker who still thinks winging it counts as preparation. Because confidence isn't luck, it's preparation in disguise. Now go out there and own your next